Roll for Crit here at Gen Con 2021, and now we're talking about a game from Hot Studio Capstone Games. We stopped by the booth and got to demo Rorschach. This is a party game for 4 to 10 players that is based on the Rorschach tests, or the ink blot tests, as I call them as a layman. But indeed, they are Rorschach. This has nothing to do with Watchmen. It is not related to that at all. Instead, it's a social game where two teams are trying to figure out what each other are thinking.
Yes, the idea behind this game is you use the Rorschach blocks, which is the Watchmen characters named after. On your team's turn, one person is going to be the subject. They're going to see 4 blots put out. Now, before they do anything about it, the opponents get to remove one of those blots because they're going to match them with 3 words, and the opponents want to make it a little bit harder for the subject. Then the subject will have 3 tiles with different symbols, and secretly, while no one's looking, put those to each blot. Those correspond to one of the words earlier. So, for example, in the words for ours, we had Titanic, Kiss, and Wall Street. So each one of those had a symbol that matched to it, and you had to try to think, okay, I think this one really shows off the Titanic somehow. Once that is done, it's time for the actual guessing. The first guess is important, though, because that's the one the opponents get to steal. So the team who's on, the same team as the subject, will choose one of the blots. Then they're going to be like, I really think it's the Titanic, for example. The opponents then have the option to agree or disagree, and depending on the result, they may actually steal a point with that. The final 2, however, there is no interfering with the opponent, but you don't get your guesses back. So, for example, if you guessed wrong on the first guess, one of your other ones are going to be wrong anyway because you don't get the symbol back, so you have to be really careful about that. Yeah. First person to 4 points, first team, to 4 points, as well as being 2 points ahead of the other team, becomes the winner. Right, you have to have at least 4 points and be 2 points in the lead. So if you're both at 9 and 10, the game keeps going until one of you pulls ahead. So it's all about, for the player who's doing the assigning, they're doing the Rorschach thing. They're being, okay, what does this strike me as? What does this look like to me? Mm-hmm. Is this more of a Titanic or a Kiss? And as you can probably guess, that could be very abstract, and it could get very based on your interpretation. And I feel like this is a game people might get into fights over, arguing about what looks like what. But it's one of those kinds of wacky guessing games, very similar to other things that I've enjoyed in the past. This one's really right up my alley. Yes, we had a lot of fun with just doing one simple round of it, and it reminded me a lot of Decrypto, where it's really just like the team having to come into sync really well in the much more abstract ways. This one is not trying to trick the opponents with words. This time it's literally, I really need to know what in the world does Will think looks like a boat. Yeah, or maybe like, because it's not going to be as easy for the person who thinks that either, because sometimes nothing looks like a boat. And so then you have to go, I don't know, water. It's a little bit, I guess, like Mysterium as well, or Dixit, interpreting pictures. What does that mean to one person versus another person? Very interesting thing. And so I think if you like any of those style of party games, this seemed like a cool one that will fit a big group. Yes, 4 to 10 is the playing count. Yeah, although they said technically it could fit more if you have a group that, it's not the components that limit the player count, it's how easy it is to actually have that many people discussing something reasonably. Like most party games. But odds are probably stick to those numbers. Yeah. Yes, I think that's probably what you want to do. So that game is Rorschach, and it should be out there right now. You can buy it, or at least very soon if you can't find it already, from Capstone Games. And we will see what other stuff they have coming out. Of course, you can stay tuned here for more Gen Con content. And let us know if you're interested in Rorschach in the comments, what you think about it. Maybe you saw some of the cards that we played with. Maybe you can tell us how you would have assigned those words. You've been watching Roll for Crit's coverage of Gen Con 2021. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to all our patrons on Patreon for supporting us as well. Yeah, we're going to have exclusive coverage of Gen Con at patreon.com/rollforcrit, or you can find us right here on YouTube at our podcast. All that stuff is at rollforcrit.com/GenCon. You don't want to miss it.